that most companies or countries will say, nuclear power is definitely the way forward. I don't know, we create a lot of waste from it. And they say, we can recycle the waste that's being spilt out. Yeah, these underground farms, I think, are more beneficial than storing nuclear waste underneath the ground if there's an earthquake. If you store it into a chamber and we start leaking all of this stuff out into Earth, it's not very good. I think if we ever want to play around with nuclear technology, the best place maybe would be Mars or the Moon. And why do I say the Moon? It's a little bit risky. It would have to be fail-safe, that it's not going to impact the Moon if it were to go wrong, and it's not going to blow up the Moon. It's a bad day for Earth if that were to happen. And we've got to be very careful of the magnetic field with a nuclear detonation outside this region. Maybe will be deflected by the magnetic field, let's hope. And I think a beneficial approach where we have batteries and we build good batteries. Let's say we make a program, okay, where we can make rockets. It's easy, okay? On paper, I'm pretty sure any mathematician would be able to figure this out, that you can use fuel that doesn't burn or combust from the ground up, sending up a payload like orcas butt nose stuff out of the water. I don't know if you've ever seen that, where they push it on their nose and then push something out of the water. If we view our planet and the level of push that we need, and we can push a payload up and out into space and get it into that region, then the next stage should be very easy of just getting it from there to the Moon. Or if we push it completely from the Earth with enough power from the Earth just to move something really fast without burning any fuels that are dangerous to anybody, which you can do, then we could push a load of payload of batteries up, take them to the nuclear facility on the Moon, charge up the batteries. If we made batteries really good, right, we'd be able to send them up to the Moon, get them charged on a nuclear power station on the Moon, and bring them back to Earth fully charged, reuse them, send them back, bring them back, send them back, bring them back. So flat batteries go to the Moon to be charged. Once charged, they then come back to be used on Earth. And I think this is this can be another way around it. You're not burning any fossil fuels to achieve this. If we went battery, it's a long shot, but it is worth a try. This would be very beneficial. I don't see how this is going to be bad for the environment. I mean, okay, you're not going to run houses off of it, or could you? Depends how you make the batteries. Now, if Tesla's still playing around with the batteries, which his company seems to be making waves, and we can support this, then the Tesla batteries could be sent to a power station on the Moon, and any waste that's there, well, it could kind of be left. If we don't need anything from the Moon, it's a possibility. Whether it be good or not, I don't know. Half of the Moon could be used for charging batteries, the other half can be used as a greenhouse, and also take the power off of this to make food. I would say Mars, but it's just way too far. It's too far away from us, and the Moon is kind of, well, if you were to send food from the Moon to Mars to support astronauts there, or a colony there that were mining away at the different elements that are there, can you build batteries from Mars? So if you could, you could take the minerals, take those over to the Moon, have a facility that made more batteries on the Moon, fully charged, send them to Earth, Earth sends batteries back, blah blah blah, XYZ. Again, then on Mars, we don't have so much of an inherent risk. If there's no life on Mars, and there's only going to be humanity going there, if there were to be a Mars quake and it was to rumble through the nuclear waste, I think we'd be able to deal with that. But when you apply this to Earth, you've got more chances of damaging more cycles on the Earth. We can poison our water, it could be very detrimental to animals, it's very detrimental to humanity's health. So I think keeping Earth as clean as possible is a very good, very, very good way forwards. And this again is another way out of that. Not only are you able to grow foods on the Moon, you're also able to charge batteries. The batteries then come back. Some of these batteries, I don't know, if you run it through an MPPT charger, no, charge controller, and then, yeah, I've already done this. I've already played around with this one. So taking a battery which then fed through an MPP charger and then it fed into some more batteries, I managed to get through all of the night off of one initial charged battery. And yes, I would deplete this whole battery and then recharge that off of the solar panels the next day. And half of my solar panel, I only had 2 solar panels, by the way. This is crazy, right? So I had 2 solar panels. One solar panel was set up to charge 2 car batteries, which were quite high amp hours, but not overly massive, where I couldn't afford it. And yeah, one solar system charged up that, and the other solar system I used in the day to give power in the house. And then at night, I used that one I charged in the day to feed it through a process of different charge controllers, and I was able to feed it back into the battery, but couldn't do it whilst there was being charged by a solar panel, which was just as well because it was nighttime, so there wasn't any sun out anyway, so I could feed it back into the main battery. And what I was learning from this was that you can cycle and tap into the cycle without depleting the cycle completely, and the cycle would keep running, and I would just tap into it, because I would make off of the cycle, let's say 50 volts, just for argument's sake, but the system only needed 15 volts to keep itself circulating for just a little bit longer. It wouldn't run away forever, but it just slowed down the discharge rate, was all it did. And I took the leftover power and then inverted that power, and then that's what made my house run. And I had to make quite a few sacrifices. I think I tried to get a hairdryer to run off of it on its lowest setting, and I was tweaking it. It was getting there. I was very close, because there was something very unique you can do with the element from a hairdryer, which I haven't dumped this out yet, but you can generate a lot of heat if done correctly. I'm not there with that one yet, so I'm nearly there, but my problem is I've run out of funds to fund what I need. I know what I need, but this stuff doesn't come too cheap. Well, it does come cheap if you've got money in the bank. I really do. We're paycheck to paycheck, so there is very little room for experimenting. But yeah, it's quite a process. And then this would include into a cooling system. It would incorporate into the I just called it the Egyptian cooling system because to be honest, it was kind of like the Egyptians that got me thinking about it. How did they do that? They're not here. No, the Egyptians from the pyramids and the Mayans, let's say, the way that they understood how to do things, and there were these certain chambers around. It wasn't just the Egyptians, but trying to soak up as much as that as possible to bring it into something that we could use in our homes to cool it down, led me on a really good path. So then Mark II off of that was to try and reverse the system, so rather than it creating cooling, it creates heat, but it would be able to heat the whole house evenly, rather than at the moment we most of our heat goes up onto our roof, and the hot layer is up there. It's no good. You need it more down. So what you'll find is, though heating in our houses are very good, your feet are always cold and your head is always hot. So and if you sit down or lay down closer to the floor, it's freezing cold. If you lay up closer to the roof, it's more warmer. That's because heat rises. So to eliminate this type of problem of this, it was to make Mark II on the Egyptian cooling system, and the same principle is used to cool your house down, that the heat goes up even in the summer. So if we take it and allow it to come out, and then where there's a pull or a suction, there is also a push force of wind coming out. And yeah, that's where it left me on that. But I'm just so limited. I'm so very limited. I've tried applying for loans for different things. I just cannot get it. So I think this, again, I would like to eliminate, because I think this just holds humanity back. That there are a lot of people on the planet who just have this tenacity to just investigate, explore, and experiment with stuff, but they are very limited to funds, I think, is what it is mainly. So my contentions would also set up a part on it that would allow people who are this type of nature, we're going to support you. And you might not make successes, but I tell you what, you will definitely, there will be quite a lot more successes than what there are to date. And rather than getting in a load of debt, we'll pay you a wage, a good wage, and you'll also have access to whatever you need. Not funds to create what you need, but you will have an example. You could say, I need some of this to do this, to do this, to do this. We'll then get you all of those thises in order for you to make your successes. And that's what we're all about. And it removes this fear of debt. You're not going to get in any debt, and don't worry, we'll cover whatever we can't use in this experiment that might not have worked. We will reuse, if we can reuse the timbers into something else. So let's say if we're making clockwork, and the materials you need cover within this clockwork power, or if we're making an eco dryer, yes, and everybody is making these eco dryers no matter where you are on the world, and you're taking all of these different ideas, let's say, and the materials we need to use to build those, it's the chances are we're going to have all the materials you need to experiment. And if we don't, and the experiment doesn't go a success, it doesn't matter, because those materials will be used and recycled back into the system that they were taken from. So yeah, and obviously if certain things break, so like if we come and install a eco dryer, and you're in America and you go in and install an eco dryer to bring down this electricity bill and the demand for electric, this is also very helpful. I tried to say healthy and helpful at the same time. That came out pretty weird. Anyway, so this is very beneficial, that if we come and install this into your house, and then let's say after 20 years it breaks, or we want to replace your old one with your new one, and we take your old tech. This old tech can also be used to further experiments. The materials from it can be recycled once again with a desoldering iron if you need the electronics. We can take that off. We can also take the metals off. We would also be able to reuse any plastic, any wood, anything. It will always fundamental rule, it must be able to be fully recyclable in order for this to be a success. And we will definitely be recycling any timber that we have come back. And I think that's very helpful, that if we're able to take back your old unit and we give you a newer unit, it's not going to be as expensive, because you have just given us back some technology that we will be able to reuse. So it's helpful in a way that it keeps costs down, and it also helps with this environment runaway. So, and it also helps with stopping us from stagnating. So my contentions is only there so that it can set us up to win. All of us across the world. And we all are able to be setting ourselves up to win. And that's a beautiful cycle. Synchronicity. Yeah, I like that. So yeah, that's where, I feel that we stagnate as a world, where there's not enough funds about, or at least products for people to just go and experiment. I'd have a field day in a recycling centre. I literally would have a field day there, but I'm not allowed to take anything from a recycling centre apparently, because it's illegal. They're not allowed to do it. Where is all of this going? Well, that's landfill. This might be recycled. That might not be. Interesting. And it's kind of a bit strange. It's rubbish. So I don't know, maybe starting a junkyard perhaps, or a recycling centre might be the answer, but again, I'd need money to do it. It's crazy, isn't it? So I don't know, that's one thing I would like to end with this as well. I think that's beneficial in every country possible. So yeah, I'm nearly there. I'm very nearly there to start dividing this up and going forward. I've been making some adjustments to the last finishing touches, let's say, and then once it's all finished, then yeah, we're definitely going to start pushing this out. So it's very important. And yeah, I mean, what about greed? Money? It would be nice, but at the end of the day, I think it's more important to do this for the benefit of everybody, and not just everybody living now, but it's more important so that it's all of the children that are going to rise up after us. We owe it to them to get moving with this and leaving them a better world. And you might say, well, we didn't have it easy. Yeah, that's right, and nor did your ancestors. This is the way it's always been, but now it's time to really excel on this and set ourselves up to win. And our children, and our children's children, and then they can follow in these same footsteps, and before you know it, humanity is at just this best level of survival. So yeah, so I think I've covered quite a lot on this one, so just to quickly recap if I can. So this is about clockwork power, lack of funds. Also, I like to call it, I can't remember what it was called now, but basically where you trickle charge and use the power, that's the one. So yeah, another one to recap on: if we were to make a nuclear power station on the moon, and we were to make better batteries, we send the flat batteries from Earth without using any rocket fuel to the moon, have these batteries charged up off of the solar equipment, and then send them back to Earth in this exchange program of charging batteries back and forth from the moon. I think removes most risks that we have on Earth. Or where are we going to put this junk? The nuclear leftover waste. So yeah, we can also have a greenhouse on the moon, which is just as good because food is really important. We can also then divide this food to go to Mars at the right time of the year. So certain groves will go to Mars to help a colony there, so that they can mine up some of this metal that's beautifully spewed across the planet. And there could be minerals there to make batteries too, which is also very beneficial for humanity. So yeah, wavenators, there's another one, that's also pretty good. Doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter what country you are, what nation, you're surrounded by salt water, and it just loves to create waves. So this, we can go with this motion. Again, it fits in beautifully to clockwork power. Wow, I love the fact that humanity has created clockwork. It's brilliant, it really is, it's amazing. So yeah, and just like that, we are all like the cogs, and if we all turn at the same time, literally at the same time, I don't really need to finish that off because it's time, clock, work, time, and we all turn our cogs at the same time, you all use these at the same time to work together to create something big. Wow, something that's much more bigger than ourselves. So again, another quick video. This is quick for me, so 17 minutes. So I'm gonna bounce, and we're gonna go and find some happy today. So me and my family are ready to go out, and we're going to do some weaving, and we're going to explore some nature quickly. So that's where we're at today. So we're going to feed our happy. So yeah, so I hope you like the video, but that's sort of where I'm at, level of thinking. So and then it's time to start taking severe action, because a lot of stuff is, yeah, there's a lot of stuff here that could benefit the world. So yeah, definitely. So catch you in the next.